Whoa, it's this Lex. It's Astrostetics. Let's get it. B-E-I-E-I. Mr. Tip Drill with the credit card. Whoa. Nelly is officially getting sued and brought in court for copyright infringement by who? The Saint Lunatics. America, we gonna take a look at this case and we gonna break this down because Mr. Ali Jones, aka Ali, Mr. Torrey Harper, aka that Murphy Lee, Robert Kyjuan, Cleveland, aka Kyjuan, and Lavelle Webb are the plaintiffs in this case against the tip drill rapper Nelly, Mr. Cornell Haynes. Now check this out, America. Y'all remember the Saint Lunatics? 2000, I was 6-7 years old. So Nelly with the band-aid on his cheek. You remember that? Band-aids with the headbands, with the denim short. Come on, y'all. Y'all, if y'all remember that, subscribe right now and like the video. That's just classic era. Nelly is being sued by his former bandmates. The former Saint Lunatics, they're also suing UMG, UMC, Universal Music Corp, BMG Songs. They're suing Cobalt Music Publishing and Hypnosis Songs Group and Nelly as well. You could say maybe 18 months ago, around there, Nelly sold his publishing a few years ago to the infamous Hypnosis Music Company. So that Hypnosis Songs Group y'all hear, they was the company that was buying up all the masters and buying Timbaland's masters. I think they could have scooped up Justin Bieber's too, Lil Wayne. I know they definitely scooped up Timbaland's masters, but y'all remember that company that a few years ago, they was going around just scooping up masters, collecting masters and putting them on the desk. Y'all remember. Now, what they're really suing for is Nelly's record, Country Grammar. They coming for that publishing of that. They're pretty much saying, hey, Nelly and his partners, they've been allowing the songs that they co-wrote and that they helped co-produce to be in various TV shows. The songs been performed publicly, some been licensed out, and intentionally infringing upon the plaintiffs. And when y'all hear the plaintiffs in this, that's the Saint Lunatics, Murphy Lee, Ali. Now what's crazy is the Saint Lunatics have some proof a little bit in here that they were the original copyright owners of the record along with Nelly. And I'm gonna be honest, Nelly always gave me more like a performer vibes, the look, more of a celebrity vibe, as opposed to like an actual musician. Not to say that Nelly is not an artist, because Nelly is definitely a diamond selling artist, and after Country Grammar, he has projects that went diamond and platinum, gold, all of that. So Nelly, at some point, he evolved into an artist, but I feel like when he first started, yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if he was getting a lot of help. You know, the Saint Lunatics could have been writing the hooks for him there, writing verses there. You start getting busy, going on tour, they gonna help you out with some songs. So, and we gonna break this down and see. Make sure y'all subscribe. Now, Nelly, he also remind me a little bit of Flow Rider. So when I look at Nelly, I don't listen to Nelly and Flow Rider for bars, but the hooks and the way that they approach the music, yeah, that kind of music could get you hooked. Nelly, Flow Rider, like, come on, super pop star, stadium, anthemic music. Like, y'all know what time it is. The actual bars, though, Murphy Lee was fire. Murphy Lee seemed more like lyrical to a degree. And the other members of the Saint Lunatics, like Ali, aside from Murphy Lee and Ali, I can't remember everybody's name, so excuse me for that. But Murphy Lee, that album that he had, that album was fire. What the hook gonna be with Jermaine Dupri? Murphy Lee was doing his thing. Now, looking at this case, we're going to take a great look at it. The Saint Lunatics, they've been trying to get compensated for their funds and their contributions for a few years now. Looking into the official transcript, let's read this a bit. The plaintiff and defendant Haynes were childhood friends growing up in St. Louis, Missouri. Sometime in '93, the plaintiffs, they formed a rap group called the Saint Lunatics, While defendant Haynes demonstrated considerable skills as performer and vocalist, he lacked the songwriting creativity possessed by the other members of the St. Lunatics. Y'all know we do everything live here. I ain't see that, but I could definitely see that when they first started. Nelly, he had the swag, knew how to perform the music, getting the initial jump into, yo, what's that hook, what's that verse, how to even layer a song. Sometimes some artists don't even really know how to, when they're first starting, y'all. I'm not talking about Nelly now. I don't want all the Nelly fans getting on my ass, okay? I'm saying when Nelly first started, before he started getting hit with that creative songwriting process and spending time in the studio to learn the formula, I'm gonna have to probably agree with this part right here. And that's exactly what we said. He demonstrated some great skills as a performer, the writing, the process. A lot of artists be needing help with that, America. So don't think we wildin'. Defendant Haynes and plaintiffs worked diligently in trying to get into the industry. Now, the timeline between 93 and 97, defendant Haynes, they've been recording a demo as the St. Lunatics. During these years, the plaintiffs provided the majority of the songwriting and lyrical composition duties for the St. Lunatics. Nelly showed considerable talent in his lyrical delivery of the songs written and arranged. So once again, it's shown that the St. Lunatics, the other band members, they was the ones putting together Nelly, right? So Nelly, when he started evolving into a brand, they're saying that they was all producing the music together. So now it says the St. Lunatics, through their songwriting, demo tapes, public performance, they worked hard to gain the attention of various record companies in the industry. In 97, they released their single, Give Me What You Got, and it was written by the plaintiffs, performed by the plaintiffs and defendant as the St. Lunatics. And the song was a commercial success, and it continued to gain notoriety through the 90s, giving the plaintiffs and defendant Haynes a foothold in the industry. Now, we gonna look through the files, but remember, anytime y'all hear, like, in the future it is, if they say anything like infringing album or infringing music, they're talking about that the Country Grammar project and a few singles that they wrote when they was coming up with Nelly. Country Grammar went like diamond or like double diamond. Country Grammar did some crazy numbers, y'all. I don't think a lot of people might realize how big Nelly was, but like Nelly was like, imagine that, y'all know that song Panda, Old Town Road? Imagine that, but in the early 2000s. Nelly's music was out of here. Approximately 12 months after the release of the infringing album, the St. Lunatics released theirs, called Free City. Free City was a commercial success, reached number 3 on the US pop charts, number 1 on the US R&B charts, and it was certified gold, then platinum with over 1 million copies sold. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We almost at 1,000. We going platinum. With the success of Free City, they began touring all over the United States. And during this time, Haynes and the infringing album, or during this time, Haynes and Country Grammar were also enjoying continued commercial success and popularity. Y'all mean soaring commercial success. Nelly was wildin'. And Nelly still gave his bandmates a deal, an album, so that they could go on tour with him and perform those records. That's really dope. During this period of time, the plaintiffs reached out to Haynes and his representative inquiring about their publishing and writer's credit for the original compositions containing the infringing album. So yeah, this is almost 20 years ago that they've been trying to just raise slight awareness for their publishing and their credits. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all was on tour with him. Y'all was talking about my Air Force Ones. I don't know what the St. Lunatics had to do with that record. It's like, yo, y'all should have been rectified that. And Murphy Lee is very dope. Like, Murphy Lee's interviews are great and they're solid. Like, you could tell Murphy Lee just a solid dude, and a lot of things kind of took him by surprise. But Murphy Lee is big on communication, and my only thing with this is y'all should have got the numbers right on that even before tour or during the tour. But by the time the careers start settling and y'all know that vibe, it's like, yo, y'all want to have those things rectified. Because Murphy Lee, I ain't gonna hold y'all, Murphy Lee was a dope artist. Like, Murphy Lee, his music was bopping up here. So I ain't going front and act like I don't know Murphy Lee or say that, yo, they fell off. Like, nah, like, niggas that definitely used to listen to that, right? So shout out the St. Lunatics for sure. Now, after this, defendant Haynes and his representative, they would tell the plaintiffs, they would tell Murphy Lee and the St. Lunatics that they gonna get their credit. He explained, Nelly pretty much was telling them, look, because of the success of Country Grammar and Free City, the record company been focusing on sales and promoting the music, so they gon' pretty much work it and get the numbers right. Defendant Haynes then takes credit for creating the original composition contained in Country Grammar. Despite repeated assurances, they would be receiving writing credit and publishing income for creating the original compositions. The St. Lunatics, sometimes in 2020, eventually discovered that Nelly had been lying the whole entire time. Now, America, this is where this starts getting wild. And this is around the time when Nelly started to begin maybe preparing to sell his 50% stake. Remember, Nelly sold 50% of his catalog for $50 million. Some publishing companies took a hold in that. The Hypnosis Music Group, they pulled up. So the plaintiff eventually discovered that not only did they not receive any credit as authors and or creators for the original compositions, but Nelly and others took full credit for creating the original compositions contained in the album. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it a beam with y'all. I see Nelly settling with this immediately. Just that right there, it would be smart for Nelly to settle this, and we gonna explain that towards the end. But make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We almost at 1,000. We going platinum. Now, upon information and belief, despite repeatedly promising the St. Lunatics that they would receive recognition and credit for creating and authoring the lyrics in the original music, it eventually became clear that Nelly had no intention of providing the St. Lunatics with any such credit or recognition. Not only did Nelly fraudulently represent to others that he was the original creator of the music, he allowed other individuals within his circle to receive credit and publishing income for songs written by the plaintiff. That right there is wild, because when he says that the other people in his circle, I don't know if they talking about the producers or if they talking about the managers and some, like, yeah, the industry is an interesting place. The way that you could negotiate deals and kind of give rights to this person and give rights to that person, that's probably what it sound like was going on. Then they say that the St. Lunatics for many years detrimentally relied on the material representations made by defendant Haynes that they would receive the proper recognition for creating the original composition and also receive some income from the projects. This is where they can make it seem like Nelly was just lying. They're painting him as a liar. He was pretty much like, yo, I got you, I got your I got your tip drill, I got you. And then 20 years, the checks start slowing down, and then you see Nelly sell 50% of his catalog for $50 million, and you at home chilling and you ain't getting no kickback or no ASCAP checks, no BMI. You like, yo, Nelly, what in the EI is you finessed us? And then it looks like, yeah, that's where that started. Every time the St. Lunatics confronted Nelly for the publishing credit and income and authoring the compositions, Nelly would assure his friends that he would never prevent them from receiving the financial success they were entitled to as writers. Unfortunately, the plaintiffs believed that their friend and former bandmate would never steal credit for the original compositions. He didn't pursue any legal remedies and believed defendant Hayes would make good on his promise to ensure the plaintiffs receive one, recognition, credit, and authors of the original compositions containing the infringing album. So they're trying to get, and yeah, I'm paraphrasing it a bit because I'm not trying to read everything, but y'all get the gist of that. They're saying that they wanted to receive recognition as writers and authors of the original compositions contained in Country Grammar, the publishing income from the exploitation of the album. Now, y'all, we doing our best to look through this whole thing, but remember, you have to remember this. Nelly sold 50% of his catalog for $50 million. So the St. Lunatics, if 50% of Nelly's catalog it was sold, then you could evaluate that the other 50% is probably around $40 to $60 million. That other 50%, and that's where the Murphy Lee and the St. Lunatics is coming in. But it seems like a lot of the songs mentioned are on Country Grammar, and probably a few singles off that project, some other few singles here and there, and maybe some publishing from the Free City project. That other 50% of the catalog, Nelly should kind of be very mindful with how he deals with that. And I think it's interesting that he sold half of his catalog for $50 million. It's like that other half is where the St. Lunatics are saying that they could have came in. So at some point, with the way publishing works, you could have a song, an album, and depending on who wrote that song, how much points they got, that depends on how much percentage of the record they own and how much the record sold. All of these variables will go into how much each party should receive from the profits. Mr. Cornell Haynes sold off his masters for a large sum of monies, and the St. Lunatics allegedly feels as if they were asked out of participating in those financial exchanges. Now, the St. Lunatics, as y'all know, they broke up a few years ago, and while these individual members have solid albums, a joint album, if they're not getting royalties off a lot of the music, it's really realistically probably not enough to take care of their families. While Nelly, on the other hand, he didn't come off like he's the type of guy that you could just lock in a studio and he creates hits. Nelly comes off like he might usually need other people's energy to create hits. But aside from that, Nelly within himself is a huge name and a huge brand. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. Notice that all of them keep electing around that, and y'all gonna hear that this number $5 million, $50 million, that comes up a lot. Remember, Nelly sold 50% of his catalog for about $50 million. So in this, I could imagine the St. Lunatics trying to work out between like 10-11% of that, right? They're trying to probably get around that $5 million, around that department. But that would eventually mean that Nelly would have a minority stake in his own catalog. He already sold it for $50 million. So then the other company would own more of Nelly than Nelly does. Whoever bought that other 50%. So that's why I was saying that Nelly is probably better off hitting these dudes with a settlement. Alright? Maybe like a work for hire. You know what I'm saying? Come to a nice agreement with them. You know what I mean? Or like just do something along those lines that could make it profitable. Like, you know, y'all, this situation right here, it's looking a bit interesting on the business side, right? I really think Nelly should definitely settle with them out of court, but it seems like he was definitely like, yo, you know, I got y'all, I got you, EI, and then the Air Force Ones. And then they go back on tour. They start making a little money, maybe opening for Nelly, hype being Nelly hype man, etc. They're pretty much just not feeling it. They ain't getting no compensation as they're claiming. And Nelly, it seems like on a high business level, it really just seems like he cut them out. When Nelly performs his music on tour, if they put the music in a TV show, if they put the music in like a 2000s documentary, or something along those lines, maybe some of the videos on YouTube that got Nelly music, they're like, yo, we helped Nelly perform those lyrics like 23 years ago, and we not getting no bread off that. And that's probably not a good feeling for them. And once again, y'all, the St. Lunatics, you had D Block, Rockefeller, G Unit, Ja Rule, Irv, Murder Inc. When I think of the early 2000s, Rough Riders, those is like the only people that was really going crazy as groups. But when the Saint Lunatics was going crazy, they was making noise all over the world. You get what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I keep saying, like, we please don't front and think that these people is nobodies. They're just trying to come up off Nelly's name. No, like, if you was genuinely there helping anybody construct something, and on top of that, they also showed paperwork that they have some claim to the original composition somewhere in there. Like, they can prove it. All right, so I think Nelly is better off settling with these guys. He sold 50% of it, and I don't know if he could have a clause in there where he eats off that 50% as well. That other 50% that he owns, he would have to break that down with the other members of the same Lunatics. It's like, yo, you should have probably cut them in the deal. You know, I don't know where that went wrong, but in the long run, I don't think that could turn out well for Nelly. Alright, so yeah, Nelly, make sure you bless them boys the same way they blessed you. And I ain't gonna lie, Nelly definitely give me some vibes. Like, early in his career, he might have needed help in the studio, you know, but at the same time, Nelly didn't really answer to the case yet. So, you know, his lawyers is gonna respond. But I think instead of dragging this out, you know, Nelly, just compensate them, because they produced a few documents. And yeah, honestly, who the fuck am I? That ass. I'm talking, yo, Nelly. Yeah, you should look. Nelly gonna do whatever he wanna do. Them lawyers gonna do whatever they wanna do. But in just my opinion, yeah, they produced some documents, some proof. It looks legit. So, you know, yeah, you might want to avoid that legal hurdle. All right, but make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Saint Lunatics, and y'all know it's Lex. It's Astrostetics. Let's get it. Yeah.